Hello, my name is Fiona, and I'm a certified teacher and a Praxis coach with Study.com. Are you planning to take the Physical Education Content Knowledge Test? This is test number 5091. Praxis 5091 covers several subtopics. This worked solution set covers the subtopic of planning, instruction, and student assessment. Let's review some of the types of questions you may encounter on the exam. Let's jump right in. Problem number 1. The most famous establishment of standardized high-stakes testing is the Every Student Succeeds Act, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, No Child Left Behind Act of 2001, or Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. Let's review each. Every Student Succeeds Act represents a shift towards greater state and local control over education policy while maintaining a focus on accountability, equity, and support for all students. So this is about accountability, not about standardized testing. We can eliminate it. Next, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This law significantly influences how educational institutions handle and secure student records, ensuring a level of confidentiality and control over personal information. So this law is about the confidentiality of information, and we can eliminate that as well. Now, skipping to the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. This is a major piece of federal legislation in the U.S. that was part of President LBJ's War on Poverty campaign. The act was designed to address educational inequality by providing federal funding to primary and secondary education with a particular focus on improving the education opportunities for children from low-income families. So this again is not related to our problem, so we can eliminate that. No Child Left Behind Act of 2001. This was a federal law that aimed to increase accountability in education by requiring states to implement standardized tests as a way to measure student performance. So this is indeed the correct answer. Problem number 2. A PE teacher shows his students how to properly serve a volleyball. He then asks them to practice serving for 15 minutes. Which teaching style is the teacher using? Reciprocal, indirect, command, or exploration? Let's review each. The reciprocal style of teaching is valuable for fostering an interactive and supportive learning environment, encouraging students to become active participants in their education and helping them build valuable social and cognitive skills. This is not what is occurring in this lesson, so we can eliminate that. Indirect teaching methods help develop independent thinking and learning skills, making them effective for encouraging lifelong learning and adaptability among students. This is also not the case. We can eliminate that. The exploration style of teaching is particularly effective in promoting lifelong learning habits as it encourages curiosity, self-direction, and a deep personal engagement with content. This is not the lesson that is being taught. There is no curiosity, self-direction. This is the teacher telling the students what to do. So exploration is not the correct answer. Finally, we have command style. While the command style of teaching can be highly effective in certain contexts, its teacher-centered nature means it might not encourage creativity or critical thinking as much as more student-centered approaches, which all the other ones were. It's best used when learning fundamental skills that form the building blocks for more complex knowledge and abilities. So the teacher here is showing them how to serve a volleyball and having them practice. it is an effective tool for this type of skill development, and it is the command style. That is the correct answer. Problem number 3. Which of these is an example of movement exploration in teaching physical education? Let's look at movement exploration first before we look at our answers. Movement exploration in teaching physical education is an instructional approach that encourages students to investigate and experience a variety of movements through unstructured or semi-structured activities. So this part is very important, either unstructured or semi-structured. This method is especially beneficial in early childhood and elementary education, promoting creativity, physical fitness, and motor skills development. Movement exploration is an effective way to make physical education inclusive and engaging, fostering a positive attitude towards physical activity that can last a lifetime. Now let's look at performative tasks. Performative tasks in physical education are structured, goal-oriented activities that focus on achieving specific performance outcomes. So I want to look at 3 of the answers we've been given. Running across a track field, we can call that a performative task. So we can eliminate that. Stretching and aerobics routines are also performative, as is the performance of long jumps. So we can eliminate all of these based on that. Now, balancing bean bags with limbs. Movement exploration, such as balancing bean bags with limbs, emphasizes creativity, discovery, and personal expression through movement. It is less about achieving a specific performance outcome and more about the process of exploration itself. So this is definitely the correct answer. Problem number 4. A teacher uses the mediation process to help students develop appropriate behaviors and skills in the physical education classroom. The teacher shows students the downward dog pose during a unit on yoga. During the retention stage, which of the following should the teacher encourage? Let's look at what the retention stage of learning is. So in the retention stage of learning a physical skill, like the downward dog pose in yoga, a teacher should focus on reinforcing the memory and understanding of the skill so that students can remember and replicate it on their own in the future. By focusing on these aspects during the retention stage, the teacher can help students more effectively remember and perform the yoga pose independently. Understanding and emphasizing the importance of the skill being learned is indeed a crucial part of the retention stage in the learning process, especially in contexts like physical education or any skill-based training. So let's look at the answers. Continual practice so that the students can complete the downward dog consistently. This is also effective, but it's not about understanding the skill. So we can eliminate that. Show the students how to begin, hold, and end the downward dog pose. That would be part of the instruction, but not part of the retention stage learning, so we can eliminate that. Reward students who can hold the pose the longest. Again, not part of the retention stage, so we can eliminate that as well. Recognition as to how downward dog will help students stretch and strengthen certain muscles. So understanding and emphasizing the importance of the skill being learned is a crucial part of the retention stage in the learning process. So this is the correct answer. I hope I was able to clarify this physical education subtopic of planning, instruction, and student assessment so that you now have a better understanding of the types of questions you can expect to find on the exam. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel so that with study.com's help, you will feel confident and prepared on exam day. Bye for now.